before the game started, we haven't talked about this. Before the game started, and what we saw it in Cleveland on Sunday when your Browns got all lathered up and it worked as they beat the 49ers. Last night, a little scuffle before the game between the Cowboys and the Chargers. I assume we've got a little video of what was going on. I guess what was happening, Miles, was it the one team was warming up too close to the other team's entrance to the field? Is that what it was that sparked this melee?
It was weird because the Chargers sideline is on the other side of the field, right? So the Cowboys were coming out to warm up, and then you've got these Chargers, I think it was their defensive backs, on the side of the field, as you can see, where the Cowboys are running through. And so effectively the Cowboys are like running through a drill. But it's like, well, why are you there when your sideline is on the other side? And that's the Cowboys sideline. So I guess the Chargers took exception to something. The Cowboys took exception to something. And now all of a sudden you got two people pushing, and you get an open hand little thing right there from Dante Fowler on Austin Eckler. So yeah, that was a little interesting pregame, and nothing really came of it. But yeah, I thought it was just an odd situation where you've got one team that is trying to come out to warm up. You got another team that's already on the field warming up. And for whatever reason, the Chargers just warm up there when I guess they could warm up somewhere else. But I don't know. It's just the way that it was configured so that the Cowboys were getting onto the field was in such a way that they went right through the Chargers there.
My first thought when I saw the helmet flying around was, good thing it's not a Rams game, because we know what Aaron Donald would do with that loose helmet. Second of all,
well, Dante Fowler played with Aaron Donald for a period of time, so I don't know. Maybe he got some tips.
Second of all, the NFL is notoriously reactive, not proactive. And what's going to happen now after the fight in Cleveland, last night's fight, there's going to be memos, there's going to be emails, there's going to be and they're going to reiterate rules that are already on the books for what should or shouldn't happen before the game, because it's been an issue in the past. And when it happens, red alert, let's do something about it. Thou shalt comply or you'll be ejected. All that's going to get dusted off. They're going to pick it up. They're going to blow the dust off of it because one of the writers made the point on the text thread last night. Fowler could have and maybe should have been ejected for that. How is that different from doing it in a game, punching somebody in the face? Unless, of course, the video wasn't 100% clear, because that was the problem that night, that Trent Williams punched the guy in the face and he didn't get ejected. But I guarantee you, one of the NFL spokesmen masquerading as reporters who work for NFL Network will have the memo conveniently. They'll be going through the dumpster at 345 Park Avenue, and they'll find it in the dumpster. The memo that is reminding all teams of what the rules are, and reminding all officials of what the rules are about teams fighting before the game and what the consequences will be going forward. But implicit in that is what they should have been for last night, because they're just kind of letting it happen. And I guarantee you, Miles, the reaction is going to be a memo from 345 Park Avenue today, tomorrow, or no later than Thursday before Week 7 begins, laying down the law that was already laid down. They just kind of forgotten about it.
Well, I think, there are certain differences in the instances, if we want to call it that, right? Like between Cleveland and San Francisco, it didn't seem like anything really escalated to the point where it was like a fight. Like that last night was almost more like a training camp fight, where it's like, hey, why are these two teams really doing this, especially at a time where we are trying to get better? Or like last night, you're trying to warm up, and yeah, like tensions are high at that point. So that's why I didn't really get why you're like running through a drill when you're trying to get out on the field like that. The setup didn't make sense to me. And I don't know if it was just because of the way things are situated at SoFi, or, there obviously was the big ESPN set. So maybe usually teams come in from that way, but they didn't come in from the opposite end of the same. I don't really know what the hell it was, but it just, the whole thing was weird.
Stan Kroenke may want to get a refund from whoever designed that place, between not having the extra booth for the radio call to not having the proper space on the floor. I'm telling you, $6 billion doesn't buy what it used to.
This was a Chargers game. This was not a Rams game. So Stan Kroenke did not have to do with the operation of what the game was last night. Okay, that's on the Chargers and their group. Let's just be clear. Okay, I mean, I don't know exactly what went wrong, but like it's just you're mentioning names. So let's be clear on what these things are.
The other SoFi Stadium related talking point that gets my son all pissed off is when I tell him how Stan Kroenke made sure the Raiders weren't the second team in LA instead of the Chargers, because if the Raiders had come back to LA, they would own that market and the Rams would be an asterisk at best in LA, even with a Super Bowl win. So they wanted to keep the Raiders out, but they wanted the Chargers there, and last night was the Chargers configuration. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.